Beware of the scribes, verse 46, which they desire to walk in long robes. Now let me ask you something. Why would Jesus consistently preach against religious leaders who wore long robes and long clothing if he himself wore long clothing? Can you explain that to me? But yet every Sunday school material, every painting shows Jesus with long hair, even though the Bible says it's a shame for a man to have long hair. And then they show him with what? Long clothing. They show him with a robe that goes all the way down to... And you say, well, in Revelation 1, he's clothed with a garment down to the foot. Here's the thing. In Revelation 1, he's glorified. He's totally glorified, glowing white, glowing like the sun. When John saw him, he fell at his feet as dead. That's the only time Jesus ever was wearing a robe. And a garment that went all the way down to the foot was when he's enthroned as king. And he's, in Revelation chapter 1, glorified. But while he walked this earth, he never wore a robe. Well, Jesus wore a robe. Never. The only time you'll find Jesus in a robe is when they're beating him up and spitting in his face. They put him in a purple robe and said, "Hail, King of the Jews," and made fun of him. Jesus walked on this earth in humble clothing. Humble clothing like everybody else wore. He wore sandals and humble garments. He did not go around dressed like a king in long robes and long clothing. And he commands against going in long clothing. He says, beware of the scribes that go in the long. Beware of the scribes that love to be called rabbi, and they love the greetings in the market. They love the long robes. This is not the only verse. There are 3 different scriptures where he rebukes the long robes and the long clothing. And you know what? That's why I don't wear long clothing. And when you see today a preacher wearing long clothing, that's a sign of a false teacher. What am I? I'm talking about the Catholics today. Might as well kick that dog one more time. What do? They wear, they wear, you say, oh, you don't love Catholics. Oh, really? Because I spent day 1 and day 2 of 2018 witnessing to Catholics all day. Down on the Tohono O'odham Reservation. How many Catholics have you been given the gospel to lately? So it's not that we don't love Catholics, it's that we don't love Catholicism. It's that we want to win them to Christ and get them out of that pagan false religion of worshiping their mother goddess, Mary. What do they wear? Long clothing. What do the Orthodox priests wear? Long clothing. What's the Jewish rabbi wear? Long clothing. Well, don't judge him by his clothes. Well, Jesus told us to judge him by their clothes. He says, hey, beware of the scribes that wear the long clothing. That's the one you got to watch out for. And we could say, hey, beware of the one that has his collar turned around backwards. Beware of the one that goes in the long clothing. Beware of the one that wears the Armani suit. Right? That would be the updated version. So, the Jews, the Orthodox, the Catholics, when they wear these long flowing robes and everything. What's that? The Muslims. Yeah, beware of the imam. He goes in the long clothes. You know what? There's nothing new under the sun. It was wrong then, it's wrong now. That's why when I wear a coat, it stops right about here. Right? On Sunday morning, I got my coat on, it stops like right here. And even when I put on my big long wool coat, it stops right around my knee, right here. I don't wear some long flowing garment all the way down, right? I dress like a normal working person, not like I'm the King of England or something in some like red robe with like a white furry collar with black dots on it, right?